Hey Nantucket, this is Danielle O'Dell, ecologist with the Nantucket Conservation Foundation. Today is Thursday, July 16th, and it's World Snake Day. To celebrate, we thought we'd bring you a quick slideshow to describe the 6 species of snake that call Nantucket home and answer some of the most common questions we often hear concerning snakes on island. The number one question I hear about snakes on Nantucket is, are there poisonous snakes on the island? Before I can answer this, we have to just clear one thing up. I know this just may sound like semantics and maybe even a little bit annoying, but there is a difference between poisonous and venomous, and the misuse of the term poisonous is a pet peeve of herpetologists. Poison is something that must be absorbed, consumed, or inhaled. Venom, on the other hand, must be injected through either a bite or a sting. So snakes are either venomous or non-venomous, but not poisonous. But back to the original question, are there venomous snakes on Nantucket? And the answer is that all 6 species of snake found on Nantucket are completely harmless and non-venomous to humans. They do not have fangs in the way that, say, rattlesnakes have fangs for injecting their venom. Some of our snakes have tiny teeth in the back of their mouths that are capable of delivering a small amount of a toxin to their prey, such as worms, frogs, and small rodents. But that toxin is not dangerous to humans. Okay, now that we have established that all Nantucket snakes are harmless, so you found a snake, what kind is it? The snake species that are found on Nantucket range from very common and found in multiple habitat types to very rare and only found in very specific vegetation communities. Through this quick guide, we'll introduce you to the species of snake found on Nantucket, how to recognize and identify them, and a little bit about their ecology and the importance in natural systems here on island. The eastern garter snake is the most common snake on Nantucket and can be found in almost all habitat types on the island, including wetlands, pitch pine and scrub oak barrens, hardwood forests, grasslands, and in yards. They are sometimes mistakenly called garden snakes, but the correct term, garter, comes from their striped resemblance to old-fashioned garters once used by men and women to hold up socks and stockings. Garter snakes elsewhere have a striped coloration pattern, but on Nantucket they tend to be brownish red to olive colored with black splotches. They are almost never striped here. Garter snakes feast on frogs, tadpoles, salamanders, worms, fish, and sometimes insects, and larger individuals can also eat small rodents and baby birds. Some garter snakes are very docile, especially in cooler temperatures, but others can vigorously defend themselves by repeatedly striking, and if handled, will emit a pungent, stinky musk that will certainly cause you to think twice about ever picking up another garter snake. Garter snakes commonly hibernate in large groups and can form mating balls with multiple snakes as soon as they emerge in the early spring. Females give birth to live young later in the summer. Eastern ribbon snakes are closely related to garter snakes, and the two are often confused. But ribbon snakes are slender, brown snakes with vivid yellow stripes that extend the length of their bodies. Ribbon snakes are common here, but they're semi-aquatic and are rarely found far from water bodies, wetlands, and swamps. They're very fast swimmers and tend to stay close to shore, avoiding deep water. They eat frogs, fish, and salamanders. Females give birth to live young in the late summer. The smooth green snake is very uncommon and almost never seen on Nantucket. Its range on the island is restricted solely to the red cedar woodlands of the barrier beaches on Coatue. It's a small, lovely, docile snake and is so named smooth because each of its scales lacks a central keel or ridge, as opposed to the more southern species, the rough green snake, that grows much larger and has keeled scales. The smooth green snake eats mostly spiders and insects. This species lays eggs in the summer in rotting logs, vegetation, or burrows of rodents, and the eggs hatch within just a few weeks of being laid. At first glance, the eastern milk snake can be confused with a rattlesnake or a copperhead because of its large reddish-brown splotches and brown to tan background coloration. But this is a harmless, docile, secretive, beautiful snake. The underside of a milk snake has a black and white checkerboard pattern. You can find milk snakes in a variety of habitats, especially forests and fields, and often near buildings, especially barns. The name milk snake comes from an old wives' tale born from the belief that these snakes could and would milk cows. It is most likely that they were just often associated with barns, as they are in search of their favorite meal, small rats and mice. Because of their food preference, they would be most beneficial to have around your house to keep the rodent populations down. They hibernate in groups, and several years ago during a construction project at the UMass Nantucket Field Station, an old cistern was uncovered that contained multiple hibernating milk snakes. As the name implies, northern water snakes are most often found near bodies of water, be it ponds, swamps, marshes, and other small wetlands. They are agile swimmers that can dive for their prey of fish and frogs. This is by far our largest species of snake, and it's the most aggressive species as well. If cornered or grabbed at, water snakes are not hesitant to strike and can bite hard. Like the garter snake, it also emits a pretty foul-smelling musk that is used to deter predators. They will often bask in the sun on logs or stones. When they're on land and dry, they can appear all black or slaty gray. When they're submerged in water, their vivid and variable color patterns are more apparent, especially on the belly. The northern ringneck snake is hands down my favorite of our snake species on Nantucket. If you have a fear of snakes, this might be the one to help you on your way to overcoming your terror. Ringnecks are beautiful, small, docile, and if a snake can be considered sweet, this is the one. They can easily be identified by their overall slaty gray color and by the orange ring around their neck and bright orange undersides. Ringnecks are secretive and most often can be found in moist forested areas. They eat earthworms, slugs, salamanders, and a spring peeper or two. They lay eggs in rotting logs, and the young typically hatch in the late summer. I hope this guide has been useful in helping you identify some of the snakes that you might find on your walks on the many conservation properties on Nantucket. Check out our Facebook page for similar guides to turtles, birds, and wildflowers from the Nantucket Conservation Foundation Science and Stewardship staff. Happy World Snake Day!